Hello and welcome. You're watching Business Today Television. I'm Sakshi Batra and this is BTS. That's Behind the Scenes, a show where we'll help you understand a sneak peek into the latest edition of the Business Today magazine. The edition which has just come out is the Mutual Fund Special Edition, and I'm holding my copy and it's already out on the stand, so I'm sure that you would be already exploring about what this edition is all about. So we're going to be giving you a sneak peek into the kind of interviews that have gone in here, the kind of stories that have gone into making of this Mutual Fund Special Edition. And joining in on this conversation with me will be Shail Bhatnagar, editor for Markets on Business Today Television. He's done about 4 interviews in this special edition, so he's going to really give us an insight as to what is the current trend from the mutual fund perspective and what are top experts really hoping to see in the months to follow going forward from here as well. Of course, Tina Jain Kaushal also joins in. She's the editor of Money Today. Tina, welcome to the show as well. And you've done something which everybody has faced it personally, SIPs and the dip in SIPs amidst this volatility that we have done. So we'll try and understand from you what is the key reason behind the dip in the SIPs and what exactly are experts really telling you what should be the right course of action when it comes to your monthly installments when you come to talk about investments in the world of mutual funds. So warm welcome to both of you. Tina, we'll start off with you. First up, help us understand a broad outlook on this mutual fund special edition, the aim with which we have brought this out, and what does it aim to really provide to the end reader of Business Today magazine?
Thanks, Sakshi. To begin with, we have seen that in the last 6 months, markets are marked by extreme volatility. In this period, we have seen that FIIs have pulled as high as 1.5 lakh crore this financial year. And hence, after registering a CAGR of 32% over the period from March 20 to September 2024, the markets have fallen by 14% since September. So, in this backdrop, mutual fund industry, which saw a sharp jump in folios and AUM over the same period, the retail investors now faces a test like never before as investors head for exit or they consider exit after seeing their portfolios into red. So in this issue, we try to explore whether the industry can get back to those heady days and what investors should do at such a moment. And in this, we have done a couple of stories. If we can give a short intro to them, like one, the lead story is on SIPs in the age of volatility, how SIPs have performed over the last years, and what can we expect in these heady days going forward. The other story is on gold and silver ETFs because, as we have seen, gold have given a massive return over equities this year. So, where to invest when it comes to gold and silver? Then, is it time to go passive? There's a long, elaborate story on passive industry, how it has grown over the years. It has grown to 17% from a very meager share a few years back. So, how the industry of passive investing is going. Then there is fixed income strategy for 2025 and what money managers are doing in terms of investing fund, because last year we saw inflow of funds in thematic fund. So how the things have changed after the volatility in the markets, where are money managers investing? So this is the broad outlook of the magazine, which we have tried to cover different topics in this issue of business today.
Absolutely. We'll circle back on some of those key points and understand it in better detail with you. But let me go across to Shail now. Shail, I think the best of industry experts is what you've interviewed, from Rajiv Thakkar of PPFAS, Vetri Subramanian, Navneet Munod, Dhirendra Kumar. These are the people who've actually had seen, many, many cycles over 2-3 decades and even more as well. What has been the key learning from them as they have witnessed this 5-6 months of pain after years of upward run in the markets?
Hello, Sakshi and Tina. It's been a wonderful, wonderful experience putting this issue together. And Sakshi, Sakshi and Tina, as both you would know, there could not have been a better time for 2 reasons. After 4 years of a massive, massive rally in which the Indian market PE expanded from 13 or so at the bottom of COVID all the way up to 28 on the Nifty, we've had a 6-month correction. And in this 6-month correction, all the new entrants who came in the last 24 months had a very painful time. So this issue comes at a time which will, add some medicine to your pain. it will add a balm to your wounds, and it will give you a roadmap on what you should be doing as far as your investments are concerned. So actually, what I'll do is I'll draw a brief macro learning, and then individually we'll get into whatever wisdom we were able to get hold of from these 7-8 interviews that you and I did together. The basic learning is mutual funds are still the safest, most predictable, and the best vehicles that you can employ to create long term wealth. This is one. Secondly, for those people who are into quality small cap and mid cap funds, this is or was not the time to stop your systematic investment plans, no matter what was the fall in your individual mutual fund portfolio in the small cap and mid cap space. Thirdly, what became very clear is that small cap and mid cap investing, even via funds, is not for the faint hearted, and therefore it requires a very, very sensible minimum 5 to 7 year period as far as investments are concerned, and that too with monthly SIPs. If you have this kind of comfort, then and then only should you be taking part into systematic investments plans for mid caps and small cap funds. Otherwise, stick to large caps, or as Tina was mentioning, stick to passive funds. So these are the 4 broad learnings, Sakshi, that I have. Quality mutual funds will help you navigate volatility much better. And if you have a continuing SIP in these quality small cap and mid cap funds, you will come out as a winner. Take my word for it. 3, the best wealth creation happens beyond 7 years when compounding kicks in. And 4, in India as across the world, the easiest, most effective way to create compounded wealth is via quality mutual funds over a long period of time.
Absolutely. So those are the big learnings that have come in as far as the top voices from the world of mutual funds have explained to all our viewers in these insights and insightful conversations. I would urge all of you to please keep this copy. This is a copy
Yes.
that you need to keep. It's not a once read and for all. You can actually use this learning month on month, years on years in your mutual fund investments journey. So it is a copy for you to really keep and save and go back to every cycle that you really have doubts emerging. There'll be many questions that will clear your doubts in the interim. Let's go back to Tina. Tina, there's another very important story that you've done when it comes to gold. And everybody's been talking about gold. Gold has hogged all the limelight all this while the markets were in pain. It was gold that outperformed by a huge margin. I mean, FY25, about 30-32% kind of a rally was seen. And what you've also, extrapolated is that the data suggests that people really shifted their money and put in gold ETFs. Tell us what the data has really talked about over the last few months and quarters. What has been the trend in gold ETFs, and what do experts now expect? Now that gold prices are soaring above 90,000 rupees or so, are people still willing to put more money in gold ETFs?
Yes, Sakshi, the gold ETF story is done by our colleague Pawan, and he has explained in detail about gold. Especially, the story has come at a time when gold prices have soared up. It has given a return of 32% this 1 year compared to 5% or 6% by equities. So we like last year equities was the hero, but when we talk about the hero this year, it's clearly gold. And now the question is whether some steam is left in gold or the correction is due. So again, there are two sets of people saying, two sets of experts giving different advice. One is saying that there is already a huge rally in gold, and therefore correction should come. But the other set of people are saying that no, gold is bound to go up because we know how economic uncertainty was there, especially because of tariffs, US tariffs that we were talking about. But yesterday, that clarity has come, and 26% has been imposed on India. So whether that uncertainty will continue and gold will continue to go up, that is to be seen. But largely, the thing is, gold has given a huge rally. And if I talk about the long term, gold has always given a good return in long term, as it is as at par with equities if we talk in the gold if we talk in the long term. So yes, if we want to invest in gold, the best way is to invest through digital form. And in digital form, gold ETF is the best form. It is the best form because it invests in physical gold, and it gives you the return exactly like the physical gold without having the burden of paying the storage cost and other kinds of expenses that usually comes, like making charges that come with physical gold. So yes, gold ETF have risen sharply over the last 1 year, and data says that compared to Jan 2024 to now, gold ETFs have risen by almost 50%, which is a huge number. And their current AUM is around 55,000 crore. So yes, there is a sharp rally in gold ETF. And one of the reason for this sharp rally in gold ETF is the sharp rise in gold prices. Now, whether the gold will continue to rise or not, that is again, no one can predict very precisely. But what I will suggest is at any point of time, your portfolio should have an exposure of gold around 5 to 15%, because there are times when gold will perform better than equities, and there will be times when equities will perform better than gold. So the best way to handle this volatility is diversification. So at least hold 5 to 15% in gold through gold ETF to give a good cushion to your portfolio, is my advice.
Right. Tina, had I known we would be discussing gold, I would have worn my thick gold chain. Remember, Sakshi, I was the only one who bought gold in physical form as well. And while I'm not laughing all the way to the bank, but I'm still very, very happy. Yes, gold, 5 to 15% of your overall portfolio, ladies and gentlemen, in these turbulent, volatile, and difficult times for all sorts of investors should be in the precious metal. Tina, while we are at it, what have been the learnings from the SIP mode? As you mentioned in your cover story, that SIPs, monthly SIP numbers have shown a marginal decline. What's the trend there, and what have you learned?
So the trend is very interesting over here, Shell, because we have seen a massive jump in SIP over the last 4 years, especially this post-COVID. We have seen how mutual fund portfolios have grown. If I talk about March 2020 to Feb 2025, it has grown from 89.7 million to 232 million. So it's a massive jump that SIP has seen in folios as well as AUM. But now what has happened? Because there is a sharp correction in markets, SIPs have also mirrored that performance. So there is a decline in SIP discontinuation or completion, or SIP, those have discontinued or completed their tenure. So if I talk about the Feb numbers, which are the latest numbers, while 4.5 million SIPs were opened in Feb, 5.5 million were discontinued. So the stoppage ratio comes to 122%, which is very high if I look back till April 2021. So it is the highest since that time. Similarly, the ratio of discontinued SIP to new SIP was 109% in Jan and 83% in December. So this is like after a long time we have seen that SIP discontinued are more than new SIP registered. So there's a break in trend. We saw the surge in SIP, but now there has been break in this trend. Jan and Feb numbers have shown discontinued SIP more than a new registered SIP. And now we are awaiting the March numbers, how this trend will continue. So this was the large finding, and also it's not a number of SIP discontinued. If we see overall, AUM of the mutual fund industry has gone down by 6%. The SIP contribution, which was around, it has come down to, it's a slight decline. It has come down to 25,000 25,999 crore from 26,000 crore. So yeah, there has been a pause in the SIP boom. How long this pause will be, it depends on the markets. If the markets revive sharply, then we will see SIP also going up. But it was a challenge. This time was a challenge for new investors, because the new investors are seeing this decline for the first time. They were not ready for this decline. For them, their portfolio was going up on the daily basis. So they are learning that profit from stock market is not one way. It can be both ways, like it can go up and go down also. It's a learning exercise for first time investors. The advice is to stay put. Markets go through cycles, and it goes up and down. So it's a learning for first time investors, and seasoned investors know very well. So we are seeing two types of investors in the market: seasoned investors and the first time investors. Seasoned investors are not in a panic mode, I will say. They are like no, they are aware of the up and down of the market, but the panic gets slightly with the first time investors because they haven't seen this kind of decline. But as you know, shall we have like experts who are talking about how we should invest in long term, and there are huge numbers of mutual fund distributors also who are playing a key role on the in the ground, telling. And because I've spoken with many mutual fund distributors, and they were saying that they are getting call on endless basis from their customers whether they should exit or they should continue their investment. So they are also doing a good role in this volatile market. So overall, I will say that India is a huge country, and we have seen that how SBI also has come up with this 250 rupees SIP. So it is gone down, will go down and penetrate at a very large level in the country, and it's just a start. And once we come through this volatility, we will see a boom in SIP again.
Absolutely. So that's as far as the SIPs and the volatility is concerned. In fact, Tina, when I also spoke to some of the top veterans in the industry, like A. Bala Subramaniam of Aditya Birla AMC, and I also spoke to Swaroop Mohanty of Mirae Asset in this special conversation. And I did begin my conversation by asking them about the huge debate that was ongoing, that whether people should stop their SIPs, at least in the mid and the small caps, which have been frothy spaces. Both of them did say that, a lot of first time investors, like you also pointed out in the data, may have seen this for the first time and may have got the shock, and that's why may have stopped some of their SIPs at this point in time. But in fact, it's the seasoned investors that will take the maximum benefit of the downturns in the markets and probably double down on their SIP investments at this point in time and get the benefit of rupee cost averaging in the long run. So that's the first key learning that I got from them, that at this point in time, no matter what the volatility, be cautious, but at the same time, do not stop your SIPs. In fact, if you can take the advantage of the volatility, because in case you have a long-term vision, like Shell also said, that, the best of the money is compounded over 7 years and over 10 years perspective in the market. So keep that goal in mind. Remember what you started off with your goal of why are you investing in the markets or equities or in mutual funds, and only then continue. Swaroop Mohanty very rightly said, for all those under 30 first-time investors, a disciplined approach to asset allocation is absolutely key. Looking at all the noise, you may tend to stop one just because there is a lot of fear. And even A. Bala said that, a lot of our investment decisions are based on fear and greed. So one has to be very, very cautious. Do not really time the market. That's nearly impossible for everyone. But keep that long-term goal in focus and keep investing in the interim. And that's what both of these experts did say. In fact, DP Singh also from SBI Mutual Fund had highlighted a very important point in the conversation. When this new trend of 250 rupees SIPs had started, there was a question on whether mutual fund companies are finding it viable to conduct such 250 rupees SIPs, as to what are the margins that they would be really looking at. And, even the industry, even at the cost of, probably losing out on some margins at the interim, they want a financial inclusion to take place, and that they believe can be seen from such small ticket SIPs. And once the entire population, on more than what there is currently, which is a very minuscule population, even in mutual funds at this point in time, once everybody gets used to of seeing better returns, that's when they can actually move on forward to higher ticket SIPs as well. So this is just as a mission for financial inclusion, for getting more people on board with financialization of their savings, is what the key concern is. So I think all in all, we've actually seen all the top market voices, mutual fund voices, give learnings that have come in from wealth of experience of decades that can really help all our viewers out. Shell, anything else you'd like to add?
Yes, actually, 2 points. Since I'm the oldest in these 3 frames, I'd like to point out one very interesting thing. One, somewhere in the 1980s, this small SIP was tried in the FMCG segment,
Okay.
where people who couldn't buy the whole bottle of shampoo
Sachet.
bought the sachet.
Yeah.
तो 2 रुपए का sachet शुरू हुआ था,
Yeah.
and that changed the entire dynamics for FMCG companies.
Yeah.
Ditto for noodles. We started with 5 rupees a packet. So this chota sip of 250 rupees, Sakshi, will change the entire dynamics of the mutual fund sector for the better. And for all of us who are listening, you must insist that everybody who helps you in the house starts a 2 rupee 50 paisa SIP. I take great pride in saying that everybody who works for us at home has a SIP.
Yes.
And they have created so much of wealth over the last 20 years that sometimes they look at the number and say, "Ye kya ho gaya bhaiya? How did this happen?" And this is a sure shot certainty that a SIP is the best thing that you can do for your own financial health, more importantly for your next generation's financial health. 2 or 3 points I'll raise with individual people that we spoke to. Mr. Rajiv Thakkar, who's the Chief Investment Officer at Parag Parikh Financial Advisory Services, AMC. He runs India's largest equity diversified fund, which goes by the same name, Parag Parikh Flexi Cap Fund. The learnings, Sakshi, are immense. In the last 11 years, a 10,000 rupees SIP per month is now 39 lakh rupees versus 13 lakhs that were invested. So, the what he says carries weight because he manages 90,000 crore rupees. Now, this is what his view is. Valuations in the banking financial services space, especially in the private sector banking, are good. Therefore, not only is PPFAS, but many other fund managers that we spoke to are hunting and deploying cash in the BFSI space. What else is interesting? The large cap space is the happiest hunting ground. Whether it is for Vetri Subramaniam at UTI Asset Management Company or for Parag Parikh Flexi Cap Fund, they are doubling down on large caps rather than smalls and mid caps. So, these are the two other learnings that we had from the interview, and more importantly, I cannot repeat more times that a SIP is something that should not be stopped. What you can do is book profit, which is in this time of super, how should I say, rallies that you have seen, whenever you see it next time, book a part of your profit that you've made in the mutual funds rather than stopping the SIP. This could be a dramatic difference to your overall wealth in the long term. When the markets are down, ladies and gentlemen, that is the time you have to buy, not stop your SIP. Leave it to the fund manager to decide what stock to buy, what stock to sell. And remember, no matter how much time the fund manager churns his or her portfolios, you pay no tax.
Yeah.
Nobody should underestimate this huge advantage of a mutual fund, that you pay no tax unless you sell.
Yes, absolutely. Whereas in FDs, you pay upfront.
Yeah,
The
each
tax
year you pay.
So yes, that's the beauty of investing in mutual funds. Keep enjoying the profits that you see in your accounts, and only book it when you want to really enjoy it. And in the long term, you will have compounded great wealth. So viewers, I hope all of this conversation has really given you an insight as to what this massive issue can actually bring to you, a change in thought process of investing, valued advice from top, voices from across markets and mutual funds. So do go ahead. I urge you yet again, in case you don't have this copy yet with you, please go out there and gift it to your family members as well. This is extremely important. Like Shell pointed out, all of those who are at home also will benefit by investing their little bit of amount as well, with just as small as 250 rupees. If there are such remarkable changes being brought into the investment world, why not take the benefit of all of that as well? Many thanks. Yes, Shell.
And Sakshi, 100 rupees SIP is also coming.
100 rupee SIP is also coming. So there you have it. Can't get smaller than that. And the, benefits can only be seen once you start investing in on your own as well. So take your hand in case you haven't still explored the world of mutual funds. And I'm sure all of this insight will really take you forward and hold your hand towards it as well. Many thanks, Shell and Tina, for sharing all these wonderful insights and for putting this brilliant issue together. I hope this is going to be of massive value to all our viewers and readers. Many thanks, viewers. Stay tuned on Business Today Television. There's a lot more coming up on your screens.